So I reduced my carbon footprint by 40% this year, minimum 40%, by getting rid of my incredibly inefficient air conditioning unit that gets run every single day in the summertime when it's 110 to 114 degrees outside. The sidewalk is 160 degrees. Okay, I live in an area that is, we have a microclimate here. It's incredibly hot. That is the vast majority of my footprint. Winters aren't that bad. We had a lot of snow this year. We had actually 7 snow days this year, which is incredibly rare. Maybe one, okay, every 4 years or so, but wow, that was big. So I have this little mini split head here, and then the unit is outside. And I'm only cooling or heating areas that I need when I need them. It is now cold in here, and this is reading 82 degrees. 82 degrees. And it's cold in here. Colder than it would be if I had that one set right there at a 77 and it was blowing air so bad that my eyes would dry out of the vents. Just stupid inefficiency. So this cut my carbon footprint by 40%. This is the majority of the energy and the carbon that I produce is there, right there in my heating and air conditioning. 40% easy, okay? The occasional ride to the doctor every month, that kind of thing, right? Very small. But it bothered me being that inefficient. And so if I can do it, how come billionaires can't do it? How come you can't cut your footprint by 40%? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you're going to have some guy on a $500 million yacht with very few people on it burning gas. What, are you going to take your fucking yacht and park it in somewhere? Is that what you're going to do? Are you going to live on it like a home? Of course you're not. So what is it? Why that gigantic fucking yacht thing that all these guys have? Because they're trying to talk to each other. You know what it says? Well, we're just shit to them, or worse. We're less than shit to these people. We are nothing to these people. They are so above and special and chosen, okay, that they don't have a single thought for us. So what do? Well, instead of spending $44 billion to feed people, clothe people, educate people, bring people up from the depths of mental depression and mental illness, housing, what do? You spend it on a fucking megaphone that costs you $44 billion. Why? Because you're the same mouth that you're using now to spread hate and amongst people it got you in trouble there. I'm sorry, but Elon Musk's stock with me has gone down. As far as one of the richest people, he's made the worst fucking example. The rest of them are just trying to keep quiet. You don't see them doing stuff that's constantly has them, but Mr. Musk's ego cannot, stand that. So why not spend $44 billion to do something that the world remember that you did? $44 billion. Now you think about that, okay? It takes around $500 million to build a new hospital. So $44 billion, how many hospitals is that? Okay? These little mini homes like they're doing down here in Sacramento and Chico, little mini homes for homeless people, they're near the size of a container. And I think they're $30,000 material and put together. How many of those could you buy with $44 billion? The amount of food it takes to feed a family, okay, of 4 is probably around $1,100 a month if you want them to be healthy, okay? And $44 billion, how many families could you feed for a month or a year? People that don't have cars, they don't work because, number one, they've got trapped in a fucking legal system that's for profit with corrupt officials. Like my town, I tell you, I've twice now, we used to donate to the police department religiously, and that stopped. When I had two times I got fucked here. That was it for me. So they get trapped in that system just like that. I understand it completely. I've been in it, and all of a sudden, if these people aren't working or don't have a way to support themselves, now they're even in worse shape. Now they're driving around without a driver's license. They're driving around without insurance. Why? Because they have to live. They can't walk around here when it's 112 fucking degrees. They're driving because they have to. They have to get their kids to school. They have to, whatever life is demanding of them, okay? How many of those people could you help get their driver's license back? And maybe even give them a used car with $44 billion. How many lives could you change with $44 billion? Nope, I'm going to buy a fucking megaphone because my people just haven't heard enough of me yet. Man. People, these guys could change the world with half their wealth and never miss a fucking dime. But that is not the point, because then they wouldn't be a certain spot on the list. That's all that matters to these beings. I don't even know really if there's a human soul that can exist in that kind of depravity, because you're so ignorant of the ills you're causing. You are your brother's keeper. When I died, that was one of the, you know, the rock solid things that I came away with, was that you are your brother's keeper. You don't have to harm people, but if you have the means to help and you do not, yes, you're responsible. Especially if you have excess. Because when I asked if I was going to have excess, you see, that's one of the most embarrassing things about my near-death experience. I really do need to remake those videos. I asked if I was going to be rich. And I felt the heartbreak that the beings felt when I asked that, because I was still just a little kid. And I'm going back. And so I'm just a little kid. And I asked that, and they were crushed, and they said, you'll be rich, but not that way. So now I understand, you know what I mean? Why they were, how it devastated them and hurt them so badly, because it could be worse than taking a life, is letting a life fail because you did nothing to help, nothing to aid. You cannot change people without some effort. You can't. People that are homeless, I'd say 50% of them are severely mentally ill. The others are probably victims of who knows what. It's not anything any of them would choose. You know what? They constantly buy lottery tickets because they're going to win all this money and life's going to be change, and you know what I mean? And they're mentally ill. How many of those people could you help with $44 billion? How would that change society? Getting rid of homelessness and having productive citizens simply because you gave them a fucking driver's license and a car for a year and said, here, you have a year to get your shit together. Here's your driver's license. Here's your insurance. Here's a little mini home to live in. Go be productive. A lot of them would succeed, especially with medical help, mental health intervention. They're not fucked up people. They're just broken. No, I just can't see billionaires not paying for their due. It is one of the biggest crimes being committed right now on the planet Earth as far as humans' representation in the universe, is who and what we are, what kind of species we are. Is this the kind of species we're going to be when we start traveling in the stars? You could understand why some of them might go, let's just get rid of these fuckers. We've seen these mammals before that act like this. We've seen this species before. They're self-destructive. Murder and pillage and rape and death and killing is what they watch every day for entertainment. They consider that entertaining. They let an incredibly small, tiny, itty-bitty little percentage of the population own everything, because the vast majority are uneducated, which the people that own all the shit made damn sure that's how it was. You see, billionaires, they're like, oh, I paid 30% tax. That's what they say. No, listen, motherfucker. You paid 30% tax on your earned income. And we know that you acquired $40 billion worth of fucking money over the last year, okay, because of the pandemic. The problem is it's none of it was earned income. And so they get away with murder. They offshore all their shit. They threaten us. Oh, fine, we'll just take our jobs to China. Okay, you know what? Take your fucking jobs to China. And when the country falls apart, or they tell you, guess what? We now own all your assets. Get the fuck out. Okay, companies right now are having a problem leaving China. People who want to get out of China are now having problems. They have to jump through just a shitload of these hoops that are lined with knives and razor blades. It's incredibly difficult to get out there. Send your jobs overseas. See what kind of product you get. You see, I've always seen numbers and money for what it really is. It's who's controlling what value and why. So a loaf of bread was 5 cents. Now it's not. Okay, well, why? Well, people decided that it was going to be more. That's why. It doesn't take any more sunshine to grow the grain or anything else, okay? Technology's actually gotten way better and way more efficient, and farmers can grow way more, but the prices continue to fucking skyrocket. Prices never go down. Why? Well, the system that put in place is decrepit. It's fucking corrupt. It's meant to let these billionaires get away with a carbon footprint, okay, of nations. It's all criminal. It's all criminal. The system is rigged. Everyone knows it. Okay? If you don't understand that the intricacies are for gaming, then you don't understand the reality. Okay? The system is fucking crooked. There is two systems of fucking justice. It's in your face every single day. How can you not admit that? Okay? Again, Musashi said that the truth is what it is. And you must bend to its will or live a lie. I refuse to live a lie. I don't care how it makes me feel or how it affects me, okay? Because what I do is I take that as a positive learning experience. I know exactly who these fuckers are. I know who Bezos is. I know who Musk is. All you have to do is watch their behaviors. You don't have to be smart. You don't have to have a goddamn degree in psychology to see what they do, spending all their money on fucking toys instead of the world that gave them what they have. And wasteful fucking toys. Gigantic fucking footprints. They should be paying for them. Hiding all your money? Nope. It's not earned income anymore. It's what are you worth? All of a sudden, everyone's going to be worth way less billions, trust me. And they're like, oh, well, they'll stop investing. They'll stop. No, it was never that way. When I was young, any money you made over $250,000 was taxed 100%. Any money over $250,000 because the world and society and sane fucking people, okay, when I was a kid, decided that no one needs more money than that. And yes, that number would be different today because of the manipulation of the market, making those numbers do that. But you look at it rational way that your grandfather had to work more hours to buy a fucking car than you have to work today. The numbers are just manipulated just to fit the needs of people. Okay, they're a fallacy. None of that is real. Okay, it's what people put. It's the value is what people put on it. Period. And I understand we have to have some form of economics, right? If you've ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind, right? The guy got the Nobel for that. Economics is difficult because you're dealing with people. Okay, a person is predictable, but people are not. It's anytime you get a room of 20 together, anything could happen. My long-winded point here is that if I can cut my footprint by 40%, why the fuck can they not with everything they get away with? Two systems of justice, a whole financial system completely fucking bent in their direction, and they still want to fuck us by not paying for their responsibilities when it comes to the climate and our atmosphere. Okay, so take an orange. Picture an orange in your head. An orange. Because people have total misconceptions about how much water we have on the planet, okay, and how much air we have on the planet. Complete fucking misconceptions because of the bullshit they've seen on television and everything else, where this giant, thick atmosphere, okay? That's what they want you to see, and that is not the reality, okay? Take an orange, a regular orange, and then go to your printer and take one sheet of paper out of that printer. And then you lay that on top of that orange, okay? And that is, in actuality, the breathable part of the fucking atmosphere that we use every day. Yes, there's more of it, but it doesn't matter to us really, other than radiation shielding and a few other things, okay? That's how thick the atmosphere is that we use that we're polluting. But these guys, nope. You want to take a guy and his old lady or his kids out or a couple of friends every now and again on a fucking boat, okay, that needs another goddamn yacht to tend to it. How does that benefit society in any way? That is a disgusting fucking behavior. If alien intelligence comes to our planet and sees that, they're just going to cry. They're going to cry. They're literally going to be rend apart with the sorrow that they're fucking seeing happening on our planet. It's disgusting. It's fucking horrifying. And I think it's a disease. I talk a lot about billionaires' disease. I think it's a disease, okay? I think the more humble you are, the more you feel responsible. I mean, I went through a lot of trouble to get this installed, and my friends really, really, really helped me a lot, okay? And I really appreciate that. But I had to do it because I couldn't go another year with the world getting hotter, having that inefficiency that was causing my footprint to be so big when it didn't need to be. So I sacrificed a lot of my hobbies and a lot of things that I wanted to do to make sure that I got stuff that was more efficient so that I could just heat zones and things like that. If I can do it, they can do it. As far as I'm concerned, every home that gets built in the United States, the government of the United States should install photovoltaic cells as a permanent installation on every roof. And we have a national roof program. This is my number one thing that I think could actually help the United States. Every new residential home and commercial home. Now, with a commercial, it would be slightly different, okay, with a benefit, but with a private home, and you're going to live in it, and it's not just something you're building to sell, and you're going to live in it, the government has to give you a free solar installation and battery pack. And then from that point on out, everybody joins a national maintenance program, okay, and at that point, we have enough electricity to run the entire goddamn system. The entire system. All need for oil gone, other than lubricant, gone. Think about that. We could be doing that right now, actually. You know that? We could make a difference. There's no will because, again, politics, that's crooked as fuck. Everything, the system is rigged. But the problem is that the people that rigged the system, they didn't see the future coming. They kind of knew about climate change, okay? They kind of knew about that, but they couldn't know enough to predict how quick it would happen, the acceleration effects that are going, okay? Which they still don't take into account. Believe it or not, they do not take into account methane coming from the northern part of the planet, okay, in their equation. They don't take that into account. Oh, what? Are you kidding me? No, they don't. So it's accelerating. It's happening faster and faster and faster. They didn't see that when they put this fucked up system into place. They just thought, oh, this is really good for us. Look how this works, you guys. The richer you are, the richer you're going to get. What could be better? We'll all help each other out. We'll own everything, and fuck the little man who's not as good as us or smart as us, because look what we figured out. They couldn't know back then, and here we are. All of a sudden, the fires. You can't get insurance out here anymore. They don't want to insure your home if you live out here. That used to be the dream of people. I'm going to have a house by the lake in the pines. That is a terrible fucking idea right now. People are understanding that. Your property values destroyed. Okay? Water rising in Florida. Oh, it's happening right now. Way more wet days than there used to be. They all know what's happening. The gentrification of all the highland areas has already taken place with the rich people moving in and kicking everyone out to take over the land that they know is going to be dry for a very long period of time. Wow, all that property gone. Unusable, because when hurricanes come, you won't be able to hold back the surge. It'll just be too much. That's all. And the atmosphere, it's going to balance out. We haven't changed the Earth's orbit. We're not getting any more or any less solar energy besides, max helio and minimum helio It's not changing. Okay? But when it gets warmer, that energy's got to go somewhere. And it does that by blanketing our planet with more heat. And that energy makes more storms. And that makes billions upon billions upon billions of dollars of fucking damage. Are oil companies paying for any of that? I'm just thinking, if oil companies doing any of that? No, we're actually paying them fucking money and letting them not pay taxes on their real value, okay? So they can continue to pump that shit out because they have us by the balls. We could already have enough solar panels in the deserts of California and Nevada and Arizona. We could already have enough solar panels here to run the United States forever. How much money is going into tokamaks and, an infinite energy source? I mean, all these things, if you're rational, you have to look at the system and go, it's broken and it can't fix itself. There's no healing mechanism that these Einsteins who thought, look at the system we have here, we can fucking own it all. They didn't see this coming. There's no mechanism to cure this problem, this issue. If the system's not designed to have people understand the danger they're in, the system is designed to have people not understand the danger they're in. The system is designed to keep people fucking stupid and ignorant and not educated and understand what this means. That 30 years from now, we're still going to be paying for the carbon we put into the atmosphere today, which means for 30 years, it's going to be about mitigation. And the predictions for just 10 years from now is dire for people in Florida. Dire. Many people around the world, because again, you don't see it on the 6 o'clock news, okay, have already had to adapt to higher tides. Bangladesh, for one of them. People that used to grow plants now grow shrimp. So, why can't billionaires reduce their carbon footprint? Again, it's the system. The system is broken, and there's no mechanism to cure it. There's no safety valve. Nobody ever thought it would happen, so there is no system in place to make people smart all of a sudden, to make people understand all of a sudden, okay? To make people become fucking rational all of a sudden. Quit praying to some God who's supposed to solve all your goddamn problems because you didn't steal a candy bar today. It's so sad. All this, the pain and the suffering that goes on this planet. I've always said that if an alien intelligence landed and said, okay, we're going to control everything now instead of you guys, there would be this giant upheaval from those who had. But the have-nots would be eternally grateful to the universe for having common sense. For sure.